Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I want to quickly break down this setup that you can see here, which is going to be my setup I'm going to be using for podcasts, conferences and meetings, as well as potentially some sporting events for my corporate clients. So let's start first with the cameras. For this I'm using PTZ cameras, and I'm using two obsbot tail airs PTZ cameras. So these are pan, tilt and zoom cameras. They are digital zoom, which is slight downside, but one positive about them, or there's a few positive about them. I'm not going to go into them all right now because there's hundreds of videos out there about these cameras and what they're capable of. But they do shoot in 4K. You can record to micro SD cards, which you can get up to about 512 gigabyte memory cards, and you can put those into the camera so you can record internally. You don't actually need the entire setup that I'm going to show you here to utilize these cameras, but there's so many things they can do, and I'll put links to obsbot page where you can learn a little bit more about them. So our main camera is one obsbot tail air, and then we've got a top down angle, which is another obsbot again. So going back to our setup, so on the desk, right to left, so switch it that way, we've got our phone, which I'm actually using to monitor this camera, and I can make any tweaks here, and any tweaks I make here will reflect on the actual final recording in OBS, which I'll explain in a little bit. So I've got my phone connected to the obsbot live app. It's giving me a live preview of what the camera is seeing. For our switcher, I'm using a Fieldwell Live Pro L1 video switcher. This does have a small screen here, and it has inputs for 4 HDMI and 1 HDMI out, which is going to the Fieldwell F6 monitor. That gives me a preview of what I'm seeing, and then what is also going to be live when I switch on this side. So that has got the preview as well as program mode, so I can see what's actually going out live and what is being recorded as we speak. I've got the Godox XT1 wireless microphone connected to the Live Pro, and then I'm using that on my shirt. So I've got one of them here, and then I can monitor the audio on the OBS system to make sure that it's recorded. I'm not recording internally to the microphones, although they do have okay-ish microphone and I'm in a control environment. Most times I'm going to be recording with a wireless mic. They do also have a 3.5mm jack, so you can actually add a microphone to them, but that would be the option I will always probably end up using anyway. So going back to our desk, our laptop of choice is the M1 MacBook Air, and this is where we've got OBS running and where we're going to record everything. How I've got OBS set up is that I'm recording and I'm then recording live and straight to the SSD. So soon as I'm finished and I'm cutting in between scenes, once everything's done and recorded, I can basically deliver that file to the client that day. This is how seamless this setup is and how I wanted it to be. I want it to be less friction as possible and easy to not only set up but also break down, and then in terms of final delivery. So this gives me that flexibility to do exactly that. And then I've got a SanDisk 1TB SSD, which I'm recording everything to, and also have a docking port system here where I've got multiple inputs. You got HDMI, you've got USB 3.0, SD card, memory card reader, everything on there. And then finally, what I also did, just to keep this as minimal as possible, is to get two of these. So these are 30,000 milliamp power banks, and they should in theory keep these cameras going for a full day, without needing to actually plug in to a wall. So I'm going to be utilizing this. Let me switch this camera so you can actually see. So here you go. And then this can actually charge multiple devices. You got two USB 3.0 and one USB-C. I've currently got one of them charging camera 1, which you're looking at right now. And then once I've got everything set up when I'm on location for my client work, I'll do a few more review videos on location so you can actually see what the setup look like. But this is what my command station is going to look like on the day of any sort of like production. So there's tons of information online on the FieldWorld Live Pro 1, the FieldWorld F6 monitor, the Godox wireless microphone, as well as the laptop, and most things mentioned in this video. So I'm not going to go into any of those in this particular video. I just wanted to quickly break down what I'm going to be using and also do a little test. So this is basically just a test to make sure that everything is working. Currently I'm using a lantern softbox light, and that is a newer medium-sized lantern with a newer MS60B, which is a bi-colored light. If I'm shooting a podcast, I probably will end up taking this along with these tube lights that you can see behind me there. So, and then I do have a couple more lights. This option also gives me an opportunity to actually utilize a audio mixer as well, so I can connect an audio mixer onto this setup and use XLR microphones, which will be for the podcast. So once I get to that, I will then do a setup with that so you guys can actually see what that look like as well. So that gives me that flexibility of going via wireless microphone or using a audio mixer with XLR microphones as well. So I'm super happy with it so far, and I'm looking forward to taking it out on a real world kind of like job and see how it gets on, which will be at some point next week, and hopefully I can get some behind the scenes and some recordings of that I can share with you guys. But in the meantime, like I said, anything you want to know, let me know in the comments below, and all the gear mentioned will be listed in the description, so make sure you go check that out. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.